Come on, man, wave your hand. Pick up Jesus and wave your hand. Too many miles behind me. Talk to me tonight. Too many trials are true. I said too many tales help me to remember. Come on, man, wave your hand, wave your hand. There is too much to give. I want to sing it again. To Lord, too many miles behind me. No matter what you go through, too many trials are true. I said too many tears help me to remember. But there is too much to give to Lord. Do so, do so, do so, do so, do so. Set up cross the hard burning desert. Sometimes I struggle the right road to choose. Oh you do, but somewhere over there there is cool, clear water, and the sea is one word. Emancipation for how you do. I said too many sons lie beyond the mountain. I said too many rivers my feet have walked through. I said too we have done. I'm waiting over yonder. Oh, there is too much. Oh, to get to know. Can I testify? Set up cross the hard burning desert. Sometimes. Say your struggle the right road to choose. I said somewhere over there is food, clear water, and the field is what. Come on, we have gone. I don't know. Who am I to say? Look for your name now. He laid his hands on me. He laid his hands on me. Christ laid his hands on me. Who am I to say? Jesus went and died on the cross. Up on the cross, he died up on the cross. He died up on the cross. Sign up me name. We have done. Jesus, you stand me well. You stand me well. Sign up me name. How you do? Jesus, you stand me well. Sign up me name. Emancipation for. How are you look for your name now? I have been through the storm. Oh, this seem like forever. One minute tonight. For your night of confusion. And been on so long. Can I testify? For your ship has lost anchor. Everybody. For this storm got you gypsy. Everybody do so. Everybody. For your night almost over. Tell me something. He can ride out your storm. Everybody, say ride out your. God is there with you. Singing you may not feel it. Singing you're not alone. I say you're hurting now. For your morning is coming. People, you can hold on to Jesus. Oh, me ride on the star.
Ride the storm.
Me beg you, me Jesus.
Ride the storm.
What kind of star?
Ride the storm.
You ready to ride a star?
Ride the storm.
Mama, ride a star, ride a star.
Ride the storm.
Everybody, everybody.
Ride the storm.
Me beg you, Lord.
Ride the storm.
Me beg you, me Jesus.
Ride the storm.
Me beg you, me Jesus.
Ride the storm.
Me beg you, me Jesus.
Ride the storm.
Me beg you, me. Do so, do so. Do so, do so, do so.
Ride the storm.
Me beg you, me Jesus.
Ride the storm.
Singing right out there.
Ride down the storm.
Oh, God is there with you. Oh, you know. Me say you may not feel it. Tonight, me say you're not alone. Oh, you're hurting now. Can I testify? When your morning is coming, you can hold on to Jesus. Tonight, he can ride on. Oh, me ride on the star. Ride on the star. What kind of star? Storm of back pain. Storm of leprosy. Me beg you, Lord. Me beg you, me Jesus. We have you. Do so. Oh, me ride on this star. What kind of star? What kind of star? Walk for your victory. Praise God for your victory. Oh, me ride me, star. Oh, me ride me, star. Oh, me ride me, star. Oh, my ride the star. Ride the star. What kind of song? Me beg you, me Jesus. Me beg you, me Jesus. Me beg you, me Jesus. How you do? Me beg you, me Jesus. Me beg you, me Jesus. We have you, man. Lose yourself. Me beg you, me Jesus. Hold on to Jesus. He can ride out your star. No matter what.
Grenada, may God bless you. Grenada, may God bless you. The gem of the Caribbean, struck by Hurricane Ivan. The spices blew in the wind and the people all started to scream. The force of the hurricane has wrought havoc and caused great pain. But we are proud to say that we are on the rise again. Because our people are strong, it didn't take us too long to start to rebuild our land. The spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice. Yes, we're building better than before, and to your tourists we offering more. Oh yes, the spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice leaves. The speed of the recovery have boosted the industry. Tourists to visit the land are amazed at the things they see. With a better infrastructure, we're building for the future. A nation rising with pride, and we know you'll be satisfied. And now the pleasure is ours to invite you to our shores. You will never regret for sure. The spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice. Yes, we're building stronger and stronger. It all goes well for the future. Oh yes, the spice leaves. Yes, we're building better than before, and to your tourists we offering more. Oh yes, the spice leaves. The gem of the Caribbean, struck by Hurricane Ivan. The spices blew in the wind and the people all started to scream. The force of the hurricane has wrought havoc and caused great pain, but we are proud to say that we are on the rise again. Because our people are strong, it didn't take us too long to start to rebuild our land. The spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice. Yes, we're building stronger and stronger. It all goes well for the future. Oh yes, the spice leaves.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
And to your tourists,
once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I will be with you until the 10 o'clock hour. And indeed, we say a special good night to all of you joining us via the various mediums. Those of you joining us via the YouTube, those of you joining us via Facebook, those of you who are joining us as well via We Noise Radio, We Noise TV. Hope that you all have had a wonderful day today. I know for some of you in North America, it has been extremely hot. For some of you, it has been rainy. We say a special good night to each and every one of you. Those of you out there in the UK and Europe and so on, yeah, we know you've been getting some really hot temperatures. We say a special good night to each and every one of you as well.
That's my grenade, Carriacou, and the Pity Martinique, 3 islands so unique. 3 different islands and 3 different parts, interested to explore.
And indeed, today is the 2nd anniversary of the passing of Hurricane Beryl.
See where we all belong.
And we will be having on with us tonight Senator the Honorable Norlon Cox. He will be joining us on air tonight.
And tell not your beautiful beach, all the culture that's reached. You'll enjoy your friendship. Come and see for yourself. Come behold what we sell. What a country and tell. Not just beautiful beach, all the culture that's reached. You'll enjoy your friendship. Our friendly people, to tell you our history. Shakespeare, Mass and Big Drum Dance. Maroon Fest, Regatta.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I have everything in place for when we are joined by Senator Cox.
Sandy Island, Jackadam.
But before we get into that discussion tonight, just to give you all some quick reminders, yes, indeed. And folks, remember the Follow Me Fitness. They are coming. Yeah, it's coming up. The Follow Me Fitness. Yeah, the package costs $75. And it's starting on the 6th of July to the 30th of July. And from 5 p.m. to 6:30. They're going to have music by DJ Killer Sound. It's Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays in Tantine at the Old Trafford playing field. So it's going to be fitness fun, power walk, and other fitness challenges, prizes, and giveaways. All right. For more information, call 410-3711. Let me give you that number again. I fumbled it. 410-3711. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of that activity. Follow Me Fitness. And for those who have been through it for the last few years, they can confirm to you that Follow Me Fitness, real nice. Yeah, they can confirm that for you. And remember, not this Saturday, but next week Saturday, it's going to be happening. The new National Party New York Support Group, they're cordially inviting you to their 3rd annual Exquisite Affair. This is going to be taking place at the Top Civic Center, 1098 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11203. DJs, DJ Jude and Small Clothes will be in attendance starting at 9 p.m. You can get your tickets there. You see Aisha Oliver, Kathy Albert, Wendy McGuire, Louisa Frame. And it's going to be featuring the Honorable Emlyn Pear, political leader of the New National Party. She will be there, along with Senator the Honorable Norlon Cox, Mrs. Nolene Thompson, and Dr. Adrian Joseph. Price of the tickets, $125, all inclusive. All right, so that's going to be happening not this Saturday, but next week Saturday. You have enough time to get your little thing from on Amazon and Shein and so on. Yeah, you have your little time to get your little thing. Nice and come out. Yeah. You never know, Talking Points might have a little prize there for the best dress. And I just joking. We broke. We can't afford that. Yes, indeed, folks. So looking forward to that activity next week Saturday. Yeah, that's going to be next week Saturday. Looking forward to that one.
Enjoy your friendship. Our friendly people, to tell you our history. Shakespeare, Mass and Big Drum Dance. Maroon Fest, Regatta, and Tombstone Feast that you all cannot miss. Sandy Island, Jackadam, and White Island. for romantic picnic. Our local boat made, the minutes will take you there. Come and see for yourself.
And also, folks, before I bring on Senator Cox, I want to show you all some stuff, you know. I want to show you all what 2 years later Carriacou still looks like. Yeah, so let me just go through some of the slides here and let you all know what Carriacou still looks like at this point in time. What Carriacou still looks like at this point in time, because it'll give you the impression everywhere down the tree start to grow up in place and thing. Yeah, they'll give you the impression the roof and thing go on here. They'll give you the impression that everywhere has been rebuilt and so on, but as you can see, some communities still have it real rough. Yeah, many homes are still in a state. Yeah, so it's not a situation that everywhere, and in lots of instances, people, their families have got together and redone things on their own. And this is not a photo of just after the hurricane. This is a photo of what Carriacou looks like now. Yeah, this is how Carriacou looks right now, as in today. Yeah, these are some of the areas in Carriacou still as of today. So this is not just a few weeks after, or a week after, or the day after the hurricane. This is Carriacou now, because there are folks out there that giving you the impression that Carriacou has been rebuilt and everything is all hunky-dory in Carriacou. That is not the case. Yeah, there are many people who are still in serious situations in Carriacou, and this is just to give you an idea of the distance between the prefabricated homes that have been placed in Carriacou and the dump site. So those of you can see, I'm moving the mouse over. This is the dump. This is the dump in Dumfries. This is the dump. And these are where they placed the homes, the prefabricated homes. This is where they've placed them. Those homes that, if I remember correctly, were donated. And they got those homes, and there are still many people without a home, but they decided they're putting these homes here next to the dump site. Yeah? This is the distance to it. This gives a good impression of exactly where the dump is and where they've placed these homes in Carriacou. Yeah? And these are just some further photos of Carriacou and what Carriacou looks like again, not the day after, not the week after. This is what parts of Carriacou you can see, because the green has returned. Yeah, the greenery has returned. So you can tell this is not the few days after and a couple weeks after when the whole place they still mash. No, this is how the place looks now, because they want to give you the impression that everything is all well and good in Carriacou. Yeah, do the building on the front line and leave the one in the back as it is. Yeah, that's in Hillsborough itself. Fix the front line, man, and leave the one in the back as it is, and still try to give you the impression everybody good in Carriacou with their tarpaulin and things still. Yeah, other people may have done theirs, and in many instances nothing to do with government. Even after over $100 million one way and how much millions other ways, yeah, people still had to do a lot of this themselves. A lot of folks are still waiting on whatever level of assistance they down to fishermen. There are many of them that are still waiting on whatever level of assistance they can receive. So this is just to give you an understanding of what still exists in Carriacou 2 years later, because there are people that are trying to give you a different impression. Yeah, go and build some of the Build Back Better houses at the side of the road. So when people driving along the road, like, yeah, they're going to see one of the Build Back Better houses, if there is one of the Build Back Better houses there, and they're going to say, wow, yeah boy, look, they rebuild, but you ain't seeing that behind. You ain't seeing what going on up in the back here. You're not seeing what going on here. You're not seeing what going on in the back here. What you see at the side of the road is the Build Back Better house here. The trees blocking, so you ain't seeing what exists here with the tarpaulin, where probably somebody's living in this little space under here, because you see they put the tarpaulin or whatever. Yeah, you're not seeing that. What you're seeing is you're seeing the Build Back Better house, they man. Yeah, they're doing thing. They're doing thing. Yeah, the Hillsborough Court, which you've heard they said they're going to do work on, and so the bathroom and toilet, and so you see the situation still in Hillsborough itself. Other areas where, well, none of the houses in this area have been fixed back, and this is 2 years later. At this point in time, the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique were going through hell, literal hell. For those of us who have been through a hurricane, we know what they went through. Those of us who have been through it before, we know what they went through. Yeah? And again, just to give you an understanding of where the dump heap is and where the houses are. This was the first set they put down further up the hill, and then they put down these prefabs close to there. Yeah? I think they have electricity now, though. I think we'll hear from Senator Cox. We'll find out if they do have electricity now. Yeah? And some more sites out of Carriacou, and so letting you know exactly what Carriacou is looking like now. Yet 2 years later, because they try their very best to give you impressions, They're trying their very, very best to give you impressions. I know this area very, very, very well. Uncle Bryant, we know that area? Yeah, we know that area very, very, very well. In Hillsborough, in the back street, isn't it? Yeah, we know that area very well. Yeah? So you have the situation in Carriacou. Ira! Good night, cuz. The situation in Carriacou, as you can see, yeah, the situation is still dire for a lot of persons. A lot of people in Carriacou, it's still a dire situation. Some of the first set of houses that were built, I believe, by the Trinidadians, they came in and did those houses. Yeah. And within Hillsborough itself, some of the damage that's still there. Again, another view of the houses that were donated by the Trinidadians and so. Yeah, one of the Build Back Better houses being built there. And again, more photos of that. Yeah. So just letting you all see. Because see where they come on the jam, somebody Build Back Better and them. At the side of the road, you're visiting Carriacou, you're driving. Wow, look how much houses they build. You're seeing these there. But you're not seeing what's going on top there. Yeah, you're not seeing what's going on top. A lot of the places. So these photos give a proper understanding of what is still the situation. Because you may watch at this building and you think it has a roof. No, it does not. Yeah. You realize that is wood that day. That is not the roof has been shelled, the galvanized and so has been shelled off here. And this is what remains and still remains there. And as you see, tarpaulin in these areas and so on. So nobody is saying that nothing was done, but we are saying that there is a hell of a lot more to do in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And I'm sorry that we don't have some of the Petit Martinique photos here so that you could have seen the situation in Petit Martinique as well as to what. But Petit Martiniquans and Carriacouians are very resilient people. Yeah, a lot of what you're seeing there has been done by themselves. They do it on their own. They go through and they have done what they had to do on their own, with their own money. Yeah, with their own money. They have gone through and they have done a lot of these things with their own money. And this is in Hillsborough. And again, some videos just showing you video-wise some of the areas there. No, it is not AI. It is still the situation in Carriacou, Petit Martinique. And let them say that it is not so. Let them say that these are not realistic videos of what is taking place. Again, giving you an understanding of the location of these places they have put there as to the rubbish dump. That is the dump day. Yeah, so you understand the situation. You understand where they've put these places and expect people to go and stay there. So just giving you an understanding of some of what has taken place and what has not taken place in Carriacou. Yeah? And I think that's the final one that we have there for tonight on that one. Yeah, but just giving you an understanding of what has been taking place or has not been taking place in Carriacou. And hopefully, I think I just got some with Petit Martinique. Let me see how I can bring that over so that you all would be able to see the ones for Petit Martinique. But it's important, and it is important for you to know that 2 years later, and millions upon millions upon millions of dollars later, this is what still exists in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. It is important that you understand that this is what still exists in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, after millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Yeah, this is still the situation out there. And we're going to bring on Senator Cox in a short while. We're going to bring on Senator Cox to have a conversation with us. Yeah, in a short while we will be bringing him on. Let me see if he's not already over on the Zoom. Yeah, let me see if he's not there already. Next thing you know, the man over on the Zoom and a day and yeah. Let me see if he's over there. Yes, I think he's there on the Zoom. So yeah, this is the presence. Let me bring it up for you properly. I've just got to move this out of the way. Let me bring it up so that you all can see the present state of the, let me bring it up so that you all can see the present state of the clinic in Petit Martinique. You all want to know what is going on with the clinic in Petit Martinique. This is the present state of the brand new refurbished clinic in Petit Martinique. This is the state of the clinic in Petit Martinique as it is right now. Yeah, this is the present state of the Petit Martinique clinic, the main medical facility on the island of Petit Martinique, by the people that say they're taking billions of dollars and build a major health facility. This is the situation that exists for the people of Petit Martinique right now, 2 years later. Yeah, 2 years later, this is the situation that exists for the people of Petit Martinique at this time. Yeah, folks? So, folks, let me see how I can bring on Senator Cox. Give me one moment. Let me bring him up.
This is what we call our way. I remember when I was young, love and music was something I owned. Needless me to say, that was the music of the day. I used to play a nice melody in G, but that was the sweetest thing for me. And when the song of the banjo hit the air, that was all the people want to hear. Listen to the sound of the banjo, an emulation of Deepwood Moses. Move your feet, move your waist. Sweet, sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know.
So let me see if I'm hearing Senator Cox. Senator Cox, can you speak? Let me see if I'm hearing you, please. Hello? Senator Cox, let me see if I'm hearing you. Can you go ahead and speak? Let me see if I'm hearing you. Oh dear, for some reason the audio is not coming back. I'm not hearing him. Give me one moment, sir. One moment, please. Yeah, let me just do it the way that I normally get it done. Give me one moment. Let me just sign in over here.
Like a yo-yo, you got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know. You let tell a coin. Hunky high. Cecil James. Matthew James. That is Baker. And that was all now. There must be something hidden in the vibes that have me hypnotized. I went and I did my research. to caution my approach. Names like Moses, Killing Charles, Champion, so much to mention. These men kept the culture and pass it on to us with pleasure.
All right, so I think I should be able to hear him here now. Good night to you, Senator Cox.
Hey, good night. You hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you very clear. As I change you from one computer over to the next one time. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, good.
And let me
I'm doing
just
great, thanks.
let me just start the process here to bring you up. Oh yeah, I know what I have to do here. I just have to change back one setting here, and perfect. I've got you over here, and I'm just trying to get you full screen. And right, I believe I've got that done, and let me get this out of the way. Nice, beautiful. And once again, good night to you, Senator, the Honorable Norland Cox. How are you doing today, sir?
Good night, Sharon, and good night to your Talking Points family. Those who are viewing, those who are listening, wherever you are, pleasant evening to the diaspora as well. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
a wonderful opportunity to be here this evening. Yeah,
Yeah, but on
it's been a while. It's been a while.
it's been a while that you've been on via video with us in
Yeah.
Jupiter. But one of the things though, while it is a good night to be on, it's also a sad night because we know that Carriacou lost quite a few people on this day.
Certainly.
2 years ago, there were
Yeah.
several people that lost their lives, and basically everybody lost something. There was no one on the islands of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and we'll extend it because we'll speak about our brothers and sisters in Union Island and Bequia and
Yes.
Canouan and
Yeah.
so on.
Mairo, yeah.
That
Yeah.
also lost loved ones and lost their livelihoods. Some of them lost their homes. Well, most of them lost their homes. It was indeed a bad time for the people of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and the Grenadine Islands. And of course, those in Grenada here, in the north of Grenada especially.
Certainly, it's a time to pause and reflect. Obviously, a lot of persons who have lost loved ones, and it had happened in such a way that some persons actually lost their life during the storm, and then some a few days after. Then we had some deaths. Not directly, indirectly related to burial. You know, a lot of people were stressed out. So a lot of senior folks passed some a month after. So it has been a really a mixed feeling because we have a number of persons who are recovering as well, and there probably some persons would have actually get some semblance of a home back. So that is something to celebrate in a sense. But also we must pause to recognize the day in itself is one that will forever be etched in the history of Carriacou and Petit Martinique and the Grenadines as a whole, because we all close, and not just in terms of proximity, but also we do have families and friends over Union Island, St. Vincent, the Canouan. So it's one Grenadines family. So basically, we all are actually going through the same thing on this day.
Indeed. Senator Cox, Carriacou on the 30th of June 2024, and Carriacou on the, now, on the 1st of July 2026. Where is Carriacou right now? Compared to what happened after the hurricane, and so where is Carriacou at right now? Housing wise, services wise, where is Carriacou right now?
Well, in terms of, I think it's important to really define where we are in terms of how people feel emotionally and what the mood is. And basically the mood is still in recovery mode for a number of people. Just this evening, I had a conversation with a homeowner who has yet to receive any support. So what has really happened, and I spoke about it before on numerous occasions and different platforms, I spoke about the whole issue of how the recovery process, the policy that has been put in place for recovery, which bears some significant degree of unfairness, somewhat ad hoc, somewhat chaotic. You hear reports of a lot of improper actions in terms of materials, work. So it has not been structured. And I also challenge the government to actually produce real figures in terms of how many homes, how many families that have been impacted. So the data has not been assembled, has not been collected. And in the absence of having real information, real data, you're just not going to make the right decisions. Also, there is a lack of clear criteria as to who gets what, how much they receive, when they receive it. What has been happening is basically who is able to convince who first so that they can get some help. There has been no clear criteria. And I stand by this. I stand by that, Sheila, because even as of this week, if there are persons who receive support, yeah, and never had a house, never had a home in their lifetime, but they are receiving a home. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't receive support for a home. That is not the issue. But why? What is the criteria? Why is that person receiving a home before somebody who had a home? You know, how you arrive at that? What is the criteria? And that is what I'm really puzzled about. You know,
So you're
there are
saying
some
here,
persons.
you're saying here that there's no clear criteria for the present situation. So you're having people who, they may even have multiple family members that were living in a home. They're not receiving the assistance. Yet someone who may not even have had as much people living in that home, they're receiving a brand new home. They may have been
Well,
living with
you
mommy,
still-
living with daddy, living with somebody
No,
else, and
well,
getting a house.
Well, so you still, and that is one area. For the second one, somebody may have been renting, yeah, and they're now getting a home, yeah.
and,
And in some cases, two homes are built in one yard for either a parent and a child in the same yard.
so you're talking about
So
multiple family members receiving the assistance, while there are others who are even more in need and they are not getting.
Correct. And so that is the part that really gets me as to, really and truly I've concluded that the whole recovery policy is highly political, significantly political, it's saturated politically. And so once persons are in that mind space, what is going to happen? You're going to have chaos. And so one of the reasons that you find that a lot of persons who would have seen some persons got material, they didn't deserve it, or they didn't have need for it, and in some cases that happened. Some persons don't have land, they don't have anything, and they got materials because they hear material given out. And so that has happened in a significant way. So a lot of monies, a lot of wastage in that regard, because there is no proper management. Let me give you a clear situation, what is happening right now. And this is a clear fact, and a stated fact, and I challenge anybody to refute that. Currently, all government works issued through the ministry, be it bail back, better, whatever the case may be, those works are not supervised by an engineer, by a certified engineer. There is no supervision. And I think I'll go further to say that the physical planning authority, they seem to have removed themselves from that process as well. They are no way around the building of those houses, because I'm quite certain if they are supervising those houses, all the inadequacies, all the challenges that they have with the work, in some cases the poor quality work, they would have been able to pick that up. So it appears that the government agency responsible for guiding the rebuilding process seems to have a hands off on this Build Back Better, but they are vigilant when it comes to private persons when they're rebuilding. So I don't get it. So somebody have to really explain to me why that is that case. Why is the authority, the physical authority, why are they not overseeing those projects? So here's the situation. You have a young contractor, and Sheldon, I am for giving young persons an opportunity to grow, and they get an opportunity to move forward and to expand their skill. So I'm not against a young person getting a job to do a building, but you are doing a serious injustice to this young person to ask them to go and build a house without an engineering supervision. As a former Minister of Infrastructure, we issue projects, multi-million-dollar projects, to companies who have 30 years, 40 years in construction. They have a team of engineers, and we still hire an engineer to ensure that government monies are spent as it's supposed to, the project goes as it's supposed to. And so you're telling me, we are doing that, we're doing that due diligence for contractors who are 20, 30 years experience in building. But yet for somebody who is just probably building a house for the first time, you do not have no one supervising them. That is crazy. So everybody is doing what they want. So the jobs that come out pretty good is probably the more experienced guys who have a lot of experience and knowledge in construction. So their jobs come out okay. But those who don't know, the work is sloppy. I mean, could you imagine? There was this house in Leicester where entire wall fall down. They were laying the blocks and the wall fell.
Senator Cox, you're in serious, man. You're telling me that they were a contractor, quote unquote contractor, was doing a house,
yes,
and the wall fall while they
the wall
built it.
fell, collapse while they building it. They laying the blocks and collapse.
And they let that contractor finish the house?
No, they removed the contractor, and the next a more competent contractor went on site. I think they're still working on that house right now. And so that is what is happening. So I don't understand how you could have that significant amount of work, construction work going on without an engineering supervision. So we don't know what is the integrity, the structural integrity of those houses. Are they really built better? It's questionable. It's questionable. We don't know, because I fear that without having that engineering supervision, persons unavoidably may have done not so strong work. So that is the challenge I have. I don't get it why the ministry do not have an engineer, a certified engineer supervising those jobs.
And
I don't get it.
Senator Cox, even when we heard the Minister of Housing, we heard her saying that basically a lot of those houses were built badly. We heard her saying that early in the game, in fact, not even in 2026, not in 2025, but later in 2024, we did hear the minister saying that some of the houses were being built substandard. We did hear that from her. We did on this program, we did have several people call and speak of situations where in one instance a person was bathing in the bathroom and the water was flowing into the living room, on the floor in the living room. So you had these sort of things taking place. And to know that that is still, up to now, it is still taking place with the quote-unquote Build Back Better houses.
But let me say this, right? I really want to be clear. I am not saying that incidents like this never happened in the past, in previous administration. And that is not the issue. The issue is, if you have a problem, you identify the problem, you're supposed to respond appropriately and remedy the situation. But I don't understand why you have all this construction going on without an engineer supervising. Yeah,
From
and
from
because they
from what I was hearing, I was hearing that there's somebody that has been appointed in the ministry that is supposed to be overseeing certain engineering things that
no, no,
from
no, no,
from
no,
from what I
no,
heard did not
no.
did not even have the proper qualification, even close to the qualification.
I
for
am
carrying out
I
the
am
project.
fully aware. I am fully aware of the two said individuals who drive around on a daily basis to supervise and visit the projects. I think their role is more from a logistic standpoint in terms of ensuring that certain materials are received, things go as they're supposed to. But in terms of engineering, if somebody's a contractor is doing something that doesn't make any sense or going wrong, I don't think that those persons have the competencies. They may know about concept, they may have some idea, but I'm talking about, highly technical work to ensure that the structural integrity of those houses are up to par in terms of what the physical planning authority recommends or the building code recommends. So that is my challenge. That is my challenge. And I think that they are doing a serious injustice, especially to the young contractors in Carriacou and Petit-Matic. I don't think that it's fair to them. I think if you're giving those persons an opportunity to expose themselves, exposure for growth, to develop in the construction sector, the government have a responsibility to guide them, to ensure that you put the structures in place to guide them so that they, in turn, can finish work properly, and they, in turn, will have a better resume so they can refer persons to say, well, look, I built this house, you can go have a look at it, see what it looked like so you can see some of my work. But I'm afraid that some of the persons, they would not be able to do that.
Let me ask you a
Yeah.
very important question now. Just this evening, I was looking at when the earthquake struck in Venezuela, and within seconds, you had a multiple story building just collapse. It just leaned and went down with everybody inside it. Just leaned down. And we know that there are many, many houses there. To your knowledge, to the knowledge of your team, has there been any concrete testing? Because building for hurricane is one thing. We are also, the Caribbean is located along a fault line. We are located in an area where volcanoes are an issue, where tsunamis are an issue, where earthquakes are a major issue along with the seasonal hurricanes that we have. To your knowledge, do you know if any concrete testing has taken place with the places that are being built in Carriacou right now?
Well, sure, I just tell you, yeah, I have no engineer supervising. They're not reporting to no engineer in terms of what they're doing. You're going as far as testing, concrete testing. Let me go further. All the road infrastructure work that originate under the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit-Matic Affairs direct, that has not from day one gone through any of the public procurement policy, and those work probably over $100,000. No testing for concrete, including the Bel Air Road. There was no testing of the concrete on those roads. I know that for a fact because I paid attention.
But Senator
There was no
Cobb,
testing.
you're a former
But I can tell
Minister
you,
of infrastructure. You know that this is
But
standard practice.
let me say this: the works where concrete testing and you have engineering supervision taking place are the works that are funded either through UK CIF or through SIAP. Yeah, those projects must go through the procurement process. So those contractors, there is an engineer who is hired by those institutions who come supervise, ensure that formwork is in place, and before they pour concrete, and when the concrete is poured, they must collect samples for testing, so that the recommended PSI after a particular day, and they do the testing to ensure that the concrete is curing as it's supposed to with the correct PSI. Those are the only projects that you see they're adhering to the procurement laws. But any projects that originate locally from through the ministry, none of that is taking place. None of that.
Well, this is a very serious matter because from what I saw in Venezuela, where these houses just pancake, they just shatter. All you were seeing is dust and so on because apparently in some of them the concrete wasn't up to standard, and it was a 7-pointer earthquake. It was a low, in other words, it wasn't a deep one, was one that was close to the surface. So it leveled these places in a matter of seconds, less than a minute. Those apartments were down. And I'm saying that if there's no concrete testing, then you're building for hurricanes, but you're not building for the other natural disasters that Grenada usually faces. And that is a serious, serious concern. Carriacou is only a few miles away from Kikum Jenny. Not that anything going to happen. I'm not saying that, I'm not wishing that. But just for note. So as such, earthquakes go along with volcanic activity. You also have Soufrière in the north up in St. Vincent. Earthquakes in these parts are a definite and serious hazard. And as such, if we're building and you're saying you're building back better, that must be part of the consideration, and you must do concrete testing. You can't just pour concrete. You just cast up some fellas mix concrete and show that there and say you do something. That must be part of the process.
Yeah. I am not questioning whether or not they use the right mix. Yeah, but I am quite certain that no testing is taking place. Now you have, and I want to tell you one of the reasons why testing is so important. All right. Sometimes the actual mix, all right, the ratio that is recommended is used. But if for some reason the aggregate have a problem, or if for some reason the cement have a problem, you would not pick that up unless you do testing. Because the curing rate at which it is required to cure, at what pace, is only through testing you can really say, well, look, the mix is okay. So that is the importance of doing the mix. I know for a fact, and I've seen it as recent as last week. There are buildings that have been built by private owners, private contractors, and I'm seeing samples have been taken. I mean, I was really pleased to see that. And so, if persons who are working for private owners and not government are following those rules, it's all because the Physical Planning Authority are being they're doing their due diligence in terms of private. But the question is, why are they not doing that for the government buildings? A government institution is hands off a government project where they can save government money going forward in terms of ensuring that they work to get value for money. So I'm a little bit bamboozled as to why Physical Planning Authority does not have that oversight on the build back better. I think that is the right and proper thing to do, because it's a government owned agency. So maybe I will hear more about why they're not so involved.
So the final one on this is for me is that they found time to reach Nguankai and move some people, but they haven't found time to test the concrete out of all these houses that have been built by government in care. About how many?
But I want to underscore something. Sure, I really want to underscore something, which I've said numerous occasions, and I can tell you that despite all those challenges, despite all the houses that may have structural issues, all the homes that may still be leaking. One homeowner came up to me and said several contractors came to remedy the leak and the house is still leaking. Despite that, people are very grateful for the help. If it's one thing they have mentioned to me, is that they're very grateful for the help and whatever help or support they have received. And so I think it's important. So um, we raising those issues doesn't mean that persons are not grateful for the help. But in the context of doing something in terms of value for money and ensure that the billing is safe and proper, I think it's important that we raise those issues. So I just wanted to underscore that.
So, as it obtains to housing, as we're still on the issue of housing, roughly how many homes do you know, or do you have an understanding of roughly, not an exact figure, because if you give an exact figure, they will say,
Yeah.
Eli, it's not that, it's this, but a rough estimate of how many Build Back Better homes have been built in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, because we knew that they did say in the earlies that they're going to be building these homes in 3 weeks or something. They said that they would be able to build a home
Yeah.
in 3 weeks flat. They would
Three,
build,
three, I think it was
can't remember
3
the
to 6
exact
weeks they were saying, yeah.
3 weeks they would
I
be
think
able
it
to
was
build
6
the
weeks, yeah,
house
yeah.
and so on. And they forced
Yeah,
and
3 to
tried
6
to do
weeks.
one in that space of time, without the concrete settling proper everything. But they tried to do one in that space of time, which ended up taking about a month, I think. So about roughly how many do you assume have been built in Carriacou, Petit Martinique right now?
That I can't say. That will be difficult for me to ascertain at the moment. I know that they've been handing over homes over the past couple of weeks. Sometimes one, sometimes two, or so that they've been handing over, and there are some still under construction. But what has happened? The policy has shifted, and things keep moving. Initially, they were funding full furnishing for persons inside and everything with even appliances. So I think they have moved away from that, and homeowners now are required to do I think provide the materials for the electricals and the plumbing, and to do all the inside works. If you notice, the homes that they're handing over in recent time, they have not been going inside. They have not been opening the doors because inside is somewhat unfinished, because that part of it is the responsibility of the homeowner. So I think that is a new policy approach that they have taken. I think maybe to save on monies and for the homeowners to have some skin in the game as well. So they have some investment in the house. So that is what has happened. I think that's a new policy.
But
Yeah.
how do people feel about that? Because here you are, you're seeing someone who was renting before, they didn't have an actual home, or they were living with their parents, and now they have their own totally built, fully furnished home that they've been given, and you right now waiting for them to complete a home, and you have to go and find the electricals to give them, and find the plumbing materials, and probably the stuff to do the cabinets and so on. You have to go and buy that and bring it for them. How are they looking at? Because it looks like two different set of rules for different people. Like the first set, there was one set of rules for them, and the next set, there's a different set of rules for them now.
Well, as I said, Sheila, I think what they started to do, they quickly realized that was not sustainable. That was probably not the best approach, because it was costing so much for one home. If you have to buy appliances, you have to do everything. So I think quickly they realized that the monies can go further if persons contribute. I think for some persons, I don't think it's a big issue from what I picked up. There might be one or two persons who may not have the capacity. I see some persons who receive their home probably more than six months or more, and they have not been able to move into the houses yet. And it's for the same reason that they probably don't have all the finances to actually do everything right away to go inside. But save and accept, they're still grateful that at least the house is done. So it's just to move in. So while persons may be a little bit disappointed, I don't think that, not to the extent where they're not appreciative of getting an opportunity to have a home. So although some of the work is wanting, some of it is really not good, as I said, because it's not properly supervised. We have reports that some of the contractors have not been working along well with the homeowners. They just come to build a 4x4. If the homeowners say, well, look, then let's make an adjustment here, we could do this. I think there's a missed opportunity where maybe you could ask a homeowner to make an injection, to put in something, so they can get more from them being on site. Some contractors worked with some homeowners, while some didn't, and that also is again the lack of supervision and management to ensure that you find a best way to reach middle ground to help people actually get what they really want out of what is being done. Because remember, it's a concrete structure, so it has some degree of permanency. So if you go and be like a kitchen, as most of the kitchen in those big bag weathers, in some cases after all the appliances go inside, the cupboard is built. If you walk in by the front, you might reverse by the back in some cases. It's pretty restricted. I've seen some where you have to pass in the bedroom to go to the bathroom. But some like crazy stuff, just like things that just should not have happened if you have an engineer on site to supervise, to guide with the division of the homes and things like that. So I mean, a lot of crazy social. I mean, it's a lot. It's just too much, and I mean, people they just accept some of it and just move forward because what is done is already done. Yeah.
So let me ask you this question then. I know I've heard of other instances, but I've spoken to at least one individual who the contractor started their job last June. And when I say last June, I mean yesterday. I mean June 2025. Started their job, left it, and has not returned since. Have you been hearing of circumstances like that, of contractors
I've
getting
heard.
paid,
Yeah.
they received the money, they got the money to do the house, but not going back on the job site and just abandoning projects?
Yeah, some of that has happened, and I think that I don't know if any persons were reprimanded in any way or any consequences. They were met with any consequences for that, but I'm well aware, and the public is well aware of what has happened in some cases, and it all begs to go back to the whole issue of the management, the supervision, the lack of structure, the lack of criteria, and I mean, some persons receive monies even before they start, and they even scratch the ground, but then I understand that they get work again. So you know how it is. You know how it is.
Indeed. And folks, we're speaking tonight with Senator the Honorable Norland Cox. It is the 2nd anniversary of Hurricane Beryl, one of the earliest hurricanes in the hurricane season, and the strongest, if not the strongest, hurricane this early in the hurricane season was ended up being a Category 5. I think it hit Carriacou at a Category 4. Although people in Carriacou will tell you, no, that was a Category 7 when it passed through because of what it did when it passed through Carriacou and Petit Martinique and the Grenadine Islands, because I know we do have listeners out there in Canouan, we do have listeners out in Mairo and in Bakeway and in Union Island, and especially Union Island, we do have listeners out there. So I'm saying a special good night to them on the anniversary. Senator Cox, services. We know that many services were damaged in Carriacou with the passage of Hurricane Beryl. In fact, every service, everything was damaged. When we say service, we could even expand it down to church service because churches get destroyed as well.
That is true.
Medical services, health centers, and health facilities. We were showing a while ago the photo of the Petit Martinique facility and the present state of the Petit Martinique facility. And we say a special good night to our Petit Martinican listeners. Don't think that Sheldon has forgotten you. We love you all. So, Daddy, good night to you.
Yeah.
Good night to you
well,
and
Petit
everybody.
Martinique and before I get to Carriacou, I think we should start with Petit Martinique in terms of health, right?
Yeah.
And I think, Sheldon, I think in December, or if not in December, if it was not during budget, but sometime, I think when the Prime Minister gave his press conference talking about the projects and whatsoever, I think also in the Parliament, they were trying to justify why the health center in Petit Martinique was taking so long, why it wasn't completed. And I would not go as far as to say that the Prime Minister knowingly what he said was untrue. I think that he was probably misinformed because he's the prime minister and the minister of infrastructure. A lot of what he reports is what they told him. So he may have had first-hand knowledge, basically what really transpired. Because what was communicated to the nation was that there were challenges with place for the workers in Peter Martinique to stay, which is not true. And let me explain. Well, first of all, I was a little bit confused as to why a contractor on the mainland actually was given the clinic just to change the roof. They had a turning ceremony and just change the roof and do repair work. That's basically what has happened. The superstructure of the clinic has not been demolished or reconfigured in any way whatsoever. None of that happened. It's just a roof that was replaced. And I'm quite certain there are competent contractors and builders in Peter Martinique to put on a roof, and there are for certain in Carriacou who can replace the roof on the plane. So there was no reason for, and for me, I straight away, there was no reason for a contractor to come all the way from mainland to change a roof on the clinic in Peter Martinique, point blank. And I don't care what anybody else say. I just think that was unacceptable. Point blank. They came up with two large 40-foot containers, and one of those containers was for storage, and the next one was configured with the rooms. And those containers still are on Peter Martinique. So the guys came with the rooms. They had the rooms that are the living quarters on site. On the other side of the road, the clinic on one side, and the quarters was opposite the clinic. So when the prime minister said that there were no place for the people to stay, that is false. That was false. I believe that he was misinformed, he was misled in his presentation, and so I've given him the benefit of the doubt in that regard. Because I wouldn't go and say that there is no place for them guys to stay, knowing that they have a container with accommodation where they actually were staying when they actually put on the roof, because they're the ones that replaced the roof, as you see. Additionally, that clinic received a grant of some $200,000, I think, from DECAL. I think DECAL, young DECAL, yes, on the mainland, because he has a close affinity with persons in Peter Martinique, the fishermen and whatsoever. So he went out deliberately to get support for Peter Martinique proper. And I think also it doesn't look good for himself, for the donors, whoever the funding came through, but it came through him, or I'm not saying it was his personal monies, or he was able to raise the money. But whichever way, it doesn't look good at all, because work has stopped months now, and nobody knows what is happening. There was some report, I think some posting stating that the clinic is going to be concluded in July. We're in July, and nothing going on. So I think that in itself it just doesn't look good at all. Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. And so their house is better building in Peter Martinique right now. And Peter Martiniquans are the ones that are doing it, and maybe some people from Carriacou as well. So I don't understand what was the issue then? Yeah, what was the issue? There are boats that can take stuff across. The ministry have access to the mail boat who can bring materials across at any point in time, as they required. So I don't know what was the challenge. But the people of Peter Martinique have been shortchanged time and time again, and I think it's not acceptable. It is not acceptable. Yeah.
I think
so. Just wanted to clear that up with the clinic.
And I think only in where is the, before I get to that other question, if someone gets ill in Peter Martinique right now, minor or major incident, whatever it is, someone gets ill in Petit Martinique right now, how is that dealt with? What facility is there right now to at least triage the person before you can get the person either to Carriacou or to mainland? What facility is
So
there?
I'm happy. Right. So I'm happy that you raised that. And I think let me just do justice to the question before. So on mainland Carriacou, in terms of health centers, the Hillsborough Health Center, which somewhat survived the hurricane to a better extent than the hospital, is operational. Leicester is back operational. We know refurbished work was done. We know it's back operational. I think Mount Pleasant, the roof was replaced. I don't know what's the condition of the clinic in Mount Pleasant, but it's not open. It's not operational. I don't know what is the challenge. I don't know if it's staffing or other things, but Mount Pleasant Clinic, some renovation work was done, but it is not operational from my knowledge. I stand corrected. Yeah. For Petit Martinique, the clinic was relocated to the Welcome Center. The Welcome Center right by the playing field there. Yeah.
Yes,
So the
yeah.
clinic operates from the Tourism Welcome Center currently. Yeah. So that is where the doctor goes and that's where the nurses operate. So that is what has operated thus far. So I mean, I visited that area and they seem to be pretty okay. It's pretty decent, and I spoke to the workers, the staff. They are much more comfortable there than when there was in the substantive building where they had a lot of leaks and a lot of mold and things like that. So they're basically patiently waiting for the clinic to be finished and refurbished so they can move back into a better working condition with more space and things like that. Yeah.
So that is the present situation in Petit Martinique.
That's the
when it
present
comes
situation.
to
Yes.
health.
Yeah.
On
Well,
mainland, on
right.
Carriacou itself.
Yeah. So, right. So on Carriacou, you see all the clinics are operational. The hospital is actually getting back. I was actually at the hospital yesterday for quite some time. I spent some time there we had an extensive conversation with the administrator and also some of the staff there. I just went and did a visit, and so I had opportunity to speak with them. There's still some challenges, but they are operational and they are working. They are working. I think the nurses hostel is still yet to be refurbished. I think one portion of the doctor's quarters, the upstairs is not refurbished as yet. So downstairs is okay. So they do have some challenges, but they are trying to move as and operate with those constraints as much as possible. But they are functional. The hospital is operating and functional. Yeah.
Are lab services available in Carriacou at this time, or are we back to blood coming down on the boat and hit and miss? Are there lab services available?
Well, coincidentally, as you would ask that, those were part of the conversations that we had yesterday, and the U.S. Southern Command would have initiated a project, a clinic with diagnostic services in Bellevue South. I'm not sure if you saw it when you were up on your visit last. The containerized clinic. For some reason, there are some challenges. I'm being very, very honest in that regard. I don't know what are the issues, but for some reason, the project has been halted, and something or someone or some process is preventing the project from being completed. I do know that the U.S. Southern Command is very anxious to have that project completed because they are in turn want to do something on Petit Martinique. So they want to complete Carriacou and move over to Petit Martinique to maybe to replicate one day as well, to do some work there as well. So that I know for a fact in conversations. So, but I don't know what is holding up the project in Carriacou. Coincidentally, when I got to the hospital, I saw one of the containers on the hospital compound from the U.S. Southern Command Clinic. I think that there were discussions, and that container basically is a diagnostic lab. So that has been removed from the Bellevue South clinic site and is now on the hospital compound. So I think the discussion was a suggestion was to have the diagnostic services better to have it on site at the hospital than have it all the way over in Bellevue South. So the container is there, but the operations have not commenced. I think that there are some things that need to work out in terms of logistics, staffing, and other things. So I'm really hoping that with the support of the U.S. Southern Command, that they can get that facility up and operational so that Caraguans can benefit from diagnostic services on site. Even if it's just the mere basic CBC, if you could just do that here, I think that would be a big plus because the challenge of transporting blood, and there's always the risk of the blood spoiling for one reason or the other. If somebody is delayed, if the boat has a breakdown or something, and the blood don't get in time, then the blood will spoil and sample will spoil, and then we'll have to be retaken. And it happens, I can tell you, because being a former administrator of the Princess Royal Hospital, it has happened on several occasions for one reason or the other. And that is one of the challenges, that's one of the weaknesses that currently exists because of our location. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity to have this diagnostic clinic open. So I was even discussing with the administrator, look, there are opportunities, there's an opportunity of a further discussion with the U.S. Southern Command to see if, apart from giving support in terms of a facility, how about capacity building, or whether or not they are willing to extend opportunities for capacity building for persons to actually to travel out to get to be trained, to be certified to deal with the diagnostic services. So I did raise that as something that they should look to explore. So that is where they are in terms. We are in Carriacou in terms of diagnostic services. I do not know what is the capacity of the lab in terms of what amount of testing, what type of testing the capacity of the lab has, but there would be, I believe, at least minimal, should be able to do a simple CBC. Yeah.
Indeed, because I had mine done today, so that's why that question came. I had my cholesterol everything checked today, so I had to ask that particular question. Because I know that there are several people with chronic illnesses who reside on Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and who need to have these tests done from time to time. They need to do their lipid tests. They need to do all of these different tests on a regular basis to see how they're progressing and to see if they're doing the proper diet and everything. So it's important for them to be able to have these tests done. And we know of this situation
while we're on this, I think it's important to link it with the whole issue of persons coming from Petit Martinique, in terms of the whole issue of the jetty in the Windward that is currently under construction. Well, actually, we have sent a schedule for next Friday, and I think it'd be good for me. I think I'll just say that I have posed some questions through the Parliament. Through the leader of government business, some pertinent questions regarding the Windward jetty, which I believe that those questions should be very easy to answer, since that the jetty is probably more than 50% under construction complete. And those questions are centered around, well, basically 3 questions. Probably I think I could say it now. It's on the other paper. So the first question is whether or not the Windward jetty went through the procurement process, legal procurement process, because it's a highly technical project, and it cost of a couple $1,000s, well, probably millions. So we don't know whether it went through the procurement process, and if so, who are the companies that expressed interest, and who was the company that was selected. So that's the first question. Second question was, what's the cost of the project? And the third question, I think, was what is the expected completion date of the project? So I expect to have some answers for those questions come next Friday. I don't foresee that the government could come to us and say that they don't have an answer for those questions. Not so sure.
Yeah,
I think
find that highly,
that
highly unlikely.
highly unlikely, given that the project is underway. It's not like with a project that you announce. It's underway, so they should be able to answer those questions very, very quickly and very easily. I did submit the questions in time before the last sitting of the Senate, and for some procedural reasons or so, the questions didn't come on the other paper. So you can see that the questions have been with government, I think, probably more than a month, I believe, thereabout. It could be, yeah, roughly. I just got to check back to see when they were submitted. So I'm hoping that answers to those, yeah. And so then I can speak publicly with support information from the government of Grenada regarding that project in terms of the cost and the company and when it's going to be completed.
Because
And,
Senator Cox,
the projects,
it should not be a difficult thing for them to answer that question, because one is either yes, you put it out for procurement, or you didn't. It's either yes or no.
correct.
That's a simple yes or no question.
Yeah.
And they can
Yes.
just fill it in and say, well, okay, we did it at this time, whatever. The second question of the cost, it is a project taking place under the government of Grenada. I really don't foresee them coming to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique and the people of Grenada on a whole and saying, well, we're billing it, but we don't know the cost. I really don't
Well,
see
the
that.
contractor supposedly should have signed a contract for an estimated sum. So, and he's working, so he can't tell me that he's working without a signed contract. I mean, that would be crazy too. So, not impossible, but I hardly believe that. And of course, the contract's supposed to stipulate how long it should take to execute the project. Yeah. So I look forward to those answers come on the 10th in the forenoon when we have Senate sitting. So I look forward to that. But I just want to go a little further on the Winnow Jetty in terms of the challenge that we have with the jetty, and the challenge still remains that the jetty is too short. Yeah, I think the government fell short in terms of doing a really appropriate upgrade. There is nothing. I think there are no major complaints whether or not the jetty, being concrete, that is acceptable. We didn't expect less. But the jetty should have been much longer. As such, our current fishing vessels should be able to come alongside safe and to receive ice or to drop off fish, whatever the case may be. But that is not the case. That is not the case right now because it's very shallow, and even the boatmen area, they all came out complaining. A lot of people raised that issue. There were also the issue of not having a platform for the smaller craft to be able to access the jetty. So I've noticed that they have made some configuration into the main jetty, like the notch into the main jetty, like there wasn't a plan for a separate platform on the side of the jetty. And oftentimes you'd want to put the platform on the leeward side of the jetty and not on the windward side of the jetty. But see, they have notched into the jetty, so the surface platform of the jetty at a point in time is narrower than so you drive on an area that is, let's say, 20 feet wide, and when you get to the center of the jetty, the cutters are pushing for a platform, something like a platform, and making that area about 10 feet, something like that, or you could say 15 feet. And then afterwards, when you cross that area with the notches, then it goes back out to the full width again. So somewhere in the middle of the jetty, it's narrower in terms of the surface. And I think that is where the plan to use as a platform for the smaller boats. But it seems also very high and probably not conducive for the smaller craft, but we'll see how it goes, what will happen. But I foresee some operational and usage challenges with the jetty. That is what I foresee. Yeah.
One of the things I heard about the jetty was, and you mentioned it a while ago, the boats being able to get the ice and so, and if they'll
Yeah.
be able to easily access the ice. There was an issue about the ice and the jetty. What was that issue specifically?
Well, the jetty is supposed to be, I mean, in terms of the integrity and the structure, the vehicles ought to be able to drive back to deliver ice to the boats from the fishery, which is just like a minute to 2 minute drive away. However, the challenge that we have is that the boats, because of the shallowness of the area, boats with that have a longer draft, they will not be able to come aside. If they come, and they will take a load, which means that you're increasing your draft. So they might be able to touch you, especially if the tide is low. They wouldn't be able to come in. I can tell you that. I mean, I know the bay, I know the area like the back of my hand. I mean, we swim there as a young boy. I mean, so we all know it. And so when persons who are from the area tell you the jetty is short, they is so shallow, the boats won't be able to come alongside. I think that is sufficient information. I mean, there are boats in the area that you can check the draft, see what draft the boats that who is expecting to come alongside. You could find what is draft of those boats. And then you're supposed to take it from the low tide. You're supposed to bail from the low tide and not from the high tide. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, just I don't know. I really don't know. So it doesn't seem like they are going to lengthen it. So let's wait and see when the boats actually start using it, what is going to happen. You know how it's going to work out. I think that is the challenge. You know, the users find faults of the manufacturers. So let's see how well it works for persons. Would they be able to embark or disembark safely? So we just gotta wait and see. But I foresee some challenges.
Senator Cox,
Yeah.
we've been speaking about the boats and the jetty in Windward. So it's a good point for us to pivot on to the fishermen of Petit Martinique and Carriacou. What are some of the challenges that they're presently facing? I know that the increase in the cost of fuel is going to negatively affect their bottom dollar. It is going to affect them. Have they been able to resecure the U.S. market for the fish that they had lost? Because for a period of time, I didn't expect that the people who were buying from them would just settle and say, well, we ain't getting fish from Grenada, we have no fish. They would have looked to get it from elsewhere. So have they been able to
Well,
resecure those markets?
Yes.
Are
yes.
they
yeah, the
fuel-wise,
the
how are they
export, the
doing?
export. Well, export has resumed. All right, so I must indicate that they have been able to sell. Yes, the operational cost has gone up in terms of not just fuel, but the cost of food, in terms of groceries to make stores, ship stores. It's I mean, conversation with them, it costs them more, but they are cognizant of the challenges and what they do. They make adjustments to suit to see how they can operate to make up for those additional expenses. I think they have been there before, so it's not something that they haven't experienced before. So I must indicate that. However, one of the challenges that they are experiencing is that a lot of the fish that they buy, they are grading very hard, meaning that a lot of the fish have been kind of downgraded. So you find, even if you have a catch like 35, 40 fish, sometimes only half of that they were able to make the grade for export. And so they would have to try to sell the remainder on the local market. I think that was the only thing that I picked up. But they are applying the trade. However, the biggest issue that remains is persons who were eligible for the barrier relief support. They have not received that support, especially in Petit Martinique in particular. Some of the smaller boats, smaller fishermen have not received that barrier relief support, and the farmers as well. Some of them have not really received. I met a fisherman the other day, and so I said, look, I'm continuing to advocate, I continue to cry, I continue to beg, and maybe on Friday in the Parliament, I may stand again on the adjournment and raise the call for the fishermen and of Carriacou and Petit who have yet to receive, whose boat are still in ruins, have yet to receive the burial relief support, which they have been eligible for. So those are the key, the main issues that they are contending with right now.
Yes, indeed. And folks, it's now 27 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. We are speaking with Senator the Honorable Norland Cox. We're speaking on the 2-year anniversary of Hurricane Beryl. So we've spoken about housing, we've spoken about healthcare, we've spoken about the fishermen. And I would like to move now, as we're on the fishermen, to move into the issue of the agriculture in Carriacou, Petit Martinique. Are cows still roaming Hillsborough, sir? I know the last time I was up there was a problem with these cows. They damaged a 1 or 2 people vehicle. Are the cows still freely roaming the streets of Hillsborough?
Well, let me say this, Sheldon. In fairness to Carriacouans in particular, I must say with them, I must say with the owners of animals, nobody. I just tonight, my brother and I, we were speaking about it. Just about an hour or 2 ago, we were talking about all these animals roaming, and that persons don't have either all the fence are down. Some of them may have received fencing. Some of them don't have the fencing to keep those animals. So animals are not tethered in Carriacou post burial. Everything is still let go. So the ministry needs to do something. It cannot continue like that. Of course, there are persons not planting season. There's some person who wants to plant, they love planting, and of course we will want to get our corn, we will want to get a watermelon or pigeon peas and other things, cucumbers. We will want to be able to consume those, grow and consume. So we cannot continue to have all the animals roaming like that, creating destruction, creating havoc for the crop farmers. So I know that the ministry do have to take some action, some response. There will be some significant investment. I can't tell them, I don't know what plans they have, but I have in my mind how to approach it and in a structured way and to have it resolved. I think it's not difficult to do, but it will take some requirement, some work and some investment to bring it under control. I know that we do have the impounding, so I don't know. I don't think that's probably the best place to start, to just start going and pounding out these animals. I don't think it's the best place. I don't know what the ministry will do, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So on that front, persons are trying to have the land plowed, trying to get back. I think this season is probably going to be, and keep my fingers crossed, probably the best since burial. Last year was not, we didn't really have a season at all. Persons barely get things from the ground. Some corn barely and some watermelon, some persons were able to get that. So persons are looking forward to be able to have a good season this year. Yeah, so that is where we are in terms of agriculture. I know that there have been some support through funded projects for different things, different training. Persons receive irrigation equipment and things like that. So things are moving. I don't think fast as it should. Even like the Lignal Livestock Station, I think they just constructed some pens for sheep, goat, and probably pigs. I think I'm not quite certain. I haven't really gone there. I see it from afar, but it seems like it's for sheep and goat, pens for sheep and goat. But they're still far away in terms of the farm, getting the farm back up and to pre-burial. A lot of work to be done. Yeah, a lot of work to be done. Mm-hmm. So from a agriculture standpoint, that is where we are. But before we go on, I really want to speak about Regatta. I think it's important to speak about Regatta, Carriacou Regatta Festival. So if you permit me, I just want to highlight some things.
You have time, Senator. You have time. It's when you're ready to done, we done. You have time.
Yeah,
go right ahead.
I want to speak of regatta. So, regatta is going to take place at the end of this month. The Carriacou Regatta Festival is the island's most its oldest festival. It's over 60 years, um, and it's something that is deeply rooted in as part of our cultural asset. Now, sometime back, I can't remember if it was last year, Sheldon, when the government took the decision to to move the Emancipation Day to the 1st of August. That automatically erased the holiday Monday for Carriacou Regatta. Yeah? So Carriacou Regatta does not have the Monday again for as part of the sailing festival. It doesn't have the Monday. So the regatta now has to be hosted Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I know that the committee, they have been working and there are some constraints in trying to reconfigure. Like, for example, on Saturday, which is the Ranglana race, there's basically nothing you can do with that. That is a marquee race. I mean, we all look forward to the Ranglana race. That is where, captain, seamanship skills go to, it's been tested. I mean, that's one of I enjoy that race, partaking or even watching. And I mean, you can see a boat can be in front for an hour, and then by the end of the race, that boat, come third or fourth, so that is what I love about regatta, and so Saturday is a marquee race. The Friday used to be a trial race or so. They may have to factor in an actual race on the Friday. I'm not certain how they're going to do that, so they're working towards that because they only have the Sunday. So we'll see how they're going to reconfigure it going forward. But should I want to make a call here tonight, and maybe I don't know if it has merit, but I think it worth raising, and maybe too. I did raise it briefly in the Parliament when they made the change with Emancipation Day, and I am saying here tonight, Sheldon, that we received a conditional holiday for Carriacou Carnival from the Governor General, specific to Carriacou only. I am saying that treatment is appropriate and sufficient and can suffice for Carriacou Regatta as well. So I'm saying that the Monday, I believe that the government, in honest, should give Carriacou and Petit Martinique the Monday holiday just for Carriacou, as is done for the Carriacou Carnival. Yes, I believe so. And I think that is right and proper, being that is the oldest festival on island. I would strongly advocate for that. And I think you would just take...
I've also heard that it is one of the oldest regattas in the region, if not the oldest
in the region, right.
Not just in Carriacou.
Correct. And there are two more things that I want to speak about this as well, about the regatta. Regatta has had is a share of issues and problems, and I've always said this before. I mean, I've worked with regatta, worked with a number of festivals, some directly, some on the periphery. And what I've noticed is a lot of preferential treatment based on the festival that is held in Carriacou. Some of it, I don't know what is the arrangement. Like, for example, the Ministry of Tourism would have like a significant involvement, like say Lobster and Lumbee Fest, but not Carriacou Carnival, or probably not Regatta Festival, or probably not Maroon, or to a lesser extent. And so I do not really know what influences the level of involvement, and there might be justification for that. So I'm just raising it for what it's worth. Additionally, some festivals don't have challenges in getting monies from government or the ministry for operating. But Sheldon, as we speak I mean, I think as recent as yesterday, because I've done some investigation, the Carriacou Regatta Committee is yet to receive a commitment from the government of Grenada as to how much their subvention, their contribution is going to be for Carriacou Regatta Festival, which is going to take place in the next 4 weeks. Would you believe it?
No, because
That is-
I'm sure Lobster and Lambie Fest know how much money they're getting and when they're getting it and so on, but
Of
Regatta
course.
has not. Yeah, that's
Regatta has, but and you know what is most, I mean, for want of a better word, what is most hypocritical about this is that we have seen in the recent as wrong Whitsuntide a couple of months ago, the ministry sent an official to partake in St. Bart's Regatta as part of an engagement and building the culture and promoting the culture. And those boats are boats that originate from Windward, from Carriacou, in the classic, and they're racing the St. Bart's Regatta. So if we go in that far to send officials over to St. Bart's to talk about the regatta and to promote and to see the boats and meet with officials, what is the issue with our committee here? Why have not they received the level of support and commitment that they should? If we're so serious about regatta, I just find that this is somewhat contrary to what is being promoted. So I really need to raise this. I think there is a need for the committee to at least have some clarity as to where they're going and whatsoever. From what I'm picking up, there seem to be some personal issues with government officials and one or two committee members. I don't know. And I mean, I'm tired of this. I'm really weary of this little petty stuff. You know, it's about high time we move past these things. And the festival is what is suffering. I mean, a festival over 6 years old, and because you have some difference with somebody or something I mean, what time for that? You understand? Why the festival should suffer? You know, I don't know, because somebody had to stroke their ego. I don't know. I just think this is just foolish. It's just foolishness, and really and truly, I mean, I don't like to see that, and I think that what is happening is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, if you have concerns in terms of how the monies are to be spent or managed, you put your structures in place. You know, you put whatever structures in place, whatever processes to ensure that the monies, you get value for the money. I don't know if it serves anybody to have the committee waiting. You go into the 3 weeks before regatta, and they really don't know. I mean, they're coming off this is the first Carriacou Regatta they're going to have since burial. Yeah, obviously the committee would not have the certain resources. They wouldn't have it. They have been trying to raise funds, having activities here and there. They're probably trying to get some sponsorship and things like that. But I mean, this is the recovery process. And I mean, look, a lot of support has been given to Pidematic Whitsuntide Regatta, which is excellent. So what is the challenge with Carriacou's? And so I just raise it for what it's worth. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And what is the situation? Is there still a corn fest? I know that Carriacou had a corn fest.
Well, the corn fest is a private.
card?
Yes, yeah. It's a private event, but it's a public good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So corn fest is still going to be coming.
Yes. Corn fest is coming. I mean, I normally we spoke to the Dexters. The Dexters, it's 2 Dexters that normally run that festival, and they are always open to critique and suggestions. As I was telling Dexter, it just a light moment. I tell him, I say, listen, man, when you're coming conference next year, I don't want to hear your voice, your host voice in the mic. I want to hear a nice young lady speaking. So come back with Steve Dexter and come to conference. So we always converse on what has happened, areas they can improve, and they have listened to the public, and where they have constraints They will say, look, Coxwell, you know, why we really want to do this, we couldn't do this that way. And that is how the festival continued to grow. You have to take critique, you have to listen, and you have to find ways to work together to make the festival grow, because we love it. We love the Con Festival. We love our festivals. It's a part of who we are. We really enjoy it, and so we don't want to see any of it die. I mean, I'm quite certain that the government don't want to see it die. So you have to do what you have to do.
Senator Cox, a question that's very near and dear to my heart, because it's a facility that's very near and dear to my heart. What is the present situation with the Carriacou mini stadium? Are there any movements on it? Is it because I know at a point in time you all had some of the schools from the other Grenadine Islands coming down for sports in the Carriacou mini stadium? What is taking place? I'm hearing stories of, I'm just telling you a story I'm hearing, of plans to remove it and the airport, part of the airport facility being relocated there, and all these talk I'm hearing. What is the present state that you know for a fact it is at now, and what have you heard is going to be taking place?
Well, I'm glad you raised that, because I didn't even have it on my mind, but yeah, thanks for raising it. So the apart from the cleaning of the debris from the roof and whatsoever around the museum, the museum is basically in the same condition. I think there was a little repair work done to a small portion of the fence to ensure that patrons are inside, so people don't jump in when you have paid events there. So there is no roof on the pavilions. I'm not quite certain if the washroom facilities are operational. So I think whenever they have stuff there, they bring in portable toilets. So what I learned, I was reliably informed by someone who attended the primary school sports, the primary school beat. And the representative in his remarks justified not repairing the mini stadium because there is plan to relocate the Lauriston Airport Terminal to the site of the mini stadium. Those was his remarks, and those was his justification. I guess as much he probably felt bad by sitting there and having all these people there on the roof in the state of disrepair. I think his conscience probably got the better of him, and he stand and took the mic and he made those utterances from reports that they're not going to repair the mini stadium because the airport terminal is going to be placed on that site. So I don't know if it's confused or lost, I don't know. And then a few weeks thereafter, I see the same representative putting up posts indicating that the Lauriston Airport Terminal expansion project is underway. So Sheldon, my take on this is, if you are saying that the airport terminal is going to be relocated, but yet for all you are spending thousands of dollars to expand it because you made it ready to move right away, why don't you fix the roof of the stadium? Because if the airport terminal is going to be relocated, why spend money there? So I don't know what is going to happen. Additionally, when we were in Lauriston about a month or two ago, I had a community meeting there. I asked a question. Were you homeowners, were you informed that the airport terminal is now going to come over on this side or such? Those homes that in proximity of the terminal will have to be relocated because, as you know, at airport there is a certain buffer zone for security reasons that must be allowed for airport space and for airport security. So some of the homes will definitely have to be demolished and persons will have to relocate it. So I said, have anybody spoke to you about that? And persons were saying no. So I don't know if he's just, as I said, his conscience got the best of him and he just take up the mic and, as I say, mouth open over jump out to give the people something to hold. to see as the reason why you're not fixing the mini stadium. But the airport is boasting about the airport expansion. And what is happening basically is that the airport had received a scanner in terms of upgrading and conforming to rules and regulations, aviation rules and regulations. They had to get the scanner to scan persons coming through because there are some persons who come from the Grenadines and connect through international flights. From mainland Grenada, as you know, from mainland Grenada, there is not a domestic terminal. Hence the reason why when you come into Carriacou, you are treated as if you go into an international flight because there is not a domestic terminal. So you have to go through that rigorous check as well. And that's the reason for that. So they brought this scanner to the airport authority, but this scanner to Carriacou. And what that really caused, because the airport area was so small, the scanner took up a large portion of the area. And as such, the waiting area where passengers would come and wait to check in, to go and check with the airline people and whatsoever, that now became part of the security checkpoint because of the size of the area. As such, the airport authority now is forced to expand now to ensure that there is basically a departure area for persons who are departing, so they now can operate properly in terms of departure. And then when you go over into the security checkpoint area. So that is basically what is happening. Yeah.
Were there also, speaking of plans of expanding the runway? I know I heard some talk as well about expanding the length.
Well,
of
you
the
heard
runway.
some talk. A friend of mine showed me on his phone EI, what do they call it again? So,
EI, a mock-up. Yeah, like they make a mock thing of it. Yeah.
Yeah. AI concept. Yeah. Design concept of the airport terminal over by the stadium, with some 747 jets.
Oh, you're talking about the one where they had the piles in the water for the
yeah.
I saw that as well. Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
with some piles
so,
out in the water and the
yeah. So what they're saying now that so what they're saying, the runway now would extend into Paradise Beach. Obviously, that is going to interfere the whole ecosystem and a number of things on Paradise Beach. So that is what they're proposing to do. So you must do environmental impact assessment studies will have to be done. You have to see how that will impact the beach. Would the beach be the same?
Senator Cox, you're assuming, you're saying it must be done. You seem to forget who we're dealing with here. You hope that it is done. It should be done, but you're not sure that it will be done.
It has to be done. It has to be done. I mean, something of that nature, you can't just go and just do that like that. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense. You find some other problems. So we have been seeing a lot of AI generative stuff. Some mall, there is a mall to be built. So to start this month, July month. So
movement has taken place on the Hillsborough Mall. Give us some insight on that. Is government now going to be involved in building a mall in Hillsborough? Is it a private thing? Is it a government thing? Because I kind of got a story that it was a government building a mall. I've never heard of that.
I've asked several questions. And, Sheila, when you look at the condition of the Hillsborough recreation ground outfield, look at the Harveyville recreation ground outfield, I really thought that is a missed opportunity that the ministry should have focused on those facilities to have them restored as quickly as possible, invest in them, and get those playing areas back up for young people, for recreation and otherwise. Seeing that the ministerium is going to now be the side of the terminal, that outfield will be no longer available. So I think it's it's more required now for the government to have those other two fields repaired. why focus on that instead of you're going to build some mall? I don't know. You're going to build some mall on Ongsa line in town. I don't know. I don't know what kind of mall. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is just crazy.
Because
So I've asked the question.
I've heard people start to apply and all kind of things. I didn't even know application process was open. So
Yeah,
people start to
I
apply.
heard so. I heard so myself. But you know what is the sad part of it? I think persons who were applying their livelihood and some of the still, there's one guy who operates a restaurant right there as well. Unfortunately, he will have to close for when construction commences. He will have to relocate somewhere else. I don't know. No, and that is the part that really gets me. In that those persons some of the persons who operate there, that's the only source of income. That's the only, from the bar or the shop, that's the only source of income. Now the plan is to take that away. Well, we have someone taking it away from them, and the government has commandeered the land, whatever the case may be, and had physical planning stop persons from building there. And then we see this billboard go up with this AI concept, whatever it is, for some mall. But we haven't heard anything. No reckoning to the people as to what is going to go there, who is going to own it, or how persons will be able to access booths or units. What's the process? Nothing. We haven't heard anything. So that is, I am also looking for answers.
Senator Cox, a question that came in from a listener. They're saying, Mr. Scott, can you ask Senator Cox if he knows who from Carriacou that owns the environmental hazard vessel that ran aground in St. Mark? And who is therefore responsible for going up there and removing it? What is the Ministry of the Environment doing about it? There was a vessel that a couple months ago was on its way to Carriacou, found itself in difficulty and is now beached, that's the way you put it, beached in St. Mark. There's some questions being asked around that particular vessel. While you may not have the papers, so you don't know who own it, but some questions are being asked about that vessel.
I can't really say that I know who owns it, but I know who used to operate it, and sometimes we deem persons as being the owner because we see them operating and you say, oh, that is Sheldon Boat, but sometimes you really don't know who the owner is. Sometimes a boat like that may also, sometimes somebody vessel maybe under mortgage as well. So you may have a financial institution have implications in it as well. So no one really knows actually who, but Port Authority will have that pertinent information. And what I can say is that Port Authority has a protocol for response for things of that nature, which I believe that they may have already tried to address it. So one of the things that they normally would do right away is to remove all the heavy fuels, empty all the tanks, get all the oil and everything off the boat as quickly as possible, so that you do not have any oil spill or fuel spill in the area. So I know that they have done that with the Dolly Sea down in Point Saline.
Yeah.
So I know that their response is somewhat on point, but I cannot say if that was done for that particular vessel or the St. Mark's. But things of that nature, Port Authority is a competent authority who will engage the owner. So there are some responsibilities for the owner. There might be insurance implications. They're responsible for insurance, and they're responsible for Port Authority. So I would want to believe that Port Authority would have done what they're supposed to, because I've seen them done it before, and I want to believe that they would have done that in terms of ensuring that all the heavy oils and fuels have been removed for safety and to minimize environmental impact. As regards to removing the wreckage from there, I don't know how possible it is, whether we have the capacity to do that, and who is going to pay for doing that. So those are some things that Port Authority would have to work out yeah, we'll have to work out that. Yeah.
One final one, Senator Cox, because we're getting close to the 10 o'clock hour, and I want to give you a chance to wrap up as well. But first of all, I want to give you the opportunity, since it's the first time you've been on the program, I've seen you done it already, to congratulate all of the students in Carriacou and Petit Martinique on their excellent performance. They got some seriously good grades out of Carriacou and Petit Martinique in the recent CPEA exams. And those who are graduating right now, I know over the past week or so and this week, there have been several graduations. I
Yeah.
expect that some of the schools will be having graduations over the next couple of days. I want to give you the opportunity to say something to the children and the parents who work so hard to make sure that the children can go there, and the teachers as well.
Sharon, I am. I happy that you raised that because around this time is a very emotional, special time for a lot of families. I went to a graduation ceremony today at the Dover Government School, my alma mater, and it was so wonderful to see parents who come out with this pride and joy. Either a niece or a nephew or the granddaughter or the grandson, whoever it is. And so it is something that has always had a special place for me around this time. I was at the Hillsborough Secondary School graduation as well. It was moving. There's always a tearful, emotional time. But one of the things that our students in Carriacou, they continue to do on an incremental basis is to perform better year after year based on the reports that are coming from the school. So I'm very encouraged by this. I really have extended congratulations to those on the CPA who were successful in the CPA. I think it's something that a lot of kids look forward to, families, parents look forward to. That pride and joy. I could recall when my daughter when she passed her exams, there were 7 subjects and she passed them. So I was having fun with her. So I said, "You passed all the subjects?" She said, "Yes." I said, "You sure didn't make a mistake with your exam paper?" So we had fun, but it was a proud moment for everybody, for the family to hear your kids have 100% pass. I mean, it's truly amazing. I really want to congratulate the kids, the parents for their work, their due diligence. In the background, the teachers, sometimes we don't see what they do. Late evening, the classes, the phone calls to comfort the kids, to help them to achieve this. I think it's a real combination. It's an effort of unity in terms of the parents, students, and the school to ensure that they achieve this success. I've always advocated, and I feel strongly about this. And of course, the National Party, we are very proud about that, and we are a forerunner when it comes to scholarships for our young Grenadian boys and girls. We have led the way in terms of ensuring that persons get an opportunity to upgrade themselves, because we understand that investment, what it does and what it means for our country going forward. And for me, I've always said it, and that is my mantra. And I firmly believe that education is the universal key to eradicating poverty. And I believe that if persons believe that and apply themselves, because it unlocks, so much doors, and not necessarily academics. Education, when I say education from a broad perspective, being able to achieve a skill, to become an electrician, a plumber, a certified mason, whatever the case may be, an engineer. So those things, what it does, it gives you a presence, it defines you, it gives you purpose. So you can go out and make a contribution and to just to change your life and change the life of your family and friends. So I believe that is what education does. And it's one of the things that I feel strongly about and continue to push as part of my agenda when I become the next parliamentary rep for Carriacou and Petit Martinique, which would not be too long from now. I'm quite certain about that.
Yes, indeed, Senator Cox, and we are absolutely sure of that as well. Senator Cox, any final words to, and I know your Southie's listening, and I want to get stoned when I go outside. Your Southie's listening, and of course, the people of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and the Grenadine Islands, and people from all over, they're listening, and they want to hear the final greeting from you tonight. Go right ahead.
You know, I want to say something in that. One of the things that I've learned about uh, interacting or engaging people, you cannot pretend to people and get away. People see through you. They know if you're genuine in in your your iterations or your whatever engagements you have. They know. People know. And from me, that is where satisfaction lies. That is where I get satisfaction by trying my best on a daily basis to reach out to help wherever I can. Um, I think that is what is special about this role for me. Although there are certain things that come with politics, and sometimes my friends, family members would ask me, how you cope with it. Um, but I have two answers for that. One, it's not difficult because I've never been focused on the auto trappings of the job. A lot of people get caught up with the auto trappings of being in public life. Little frivolous stuff here and there. But I believe that real satisfaction comes from knowing that whatever decision you make would have impacted somebody's life, and not it doesn't have anything to do with what party they support. And I've never had to think about that. I've always think about how best I can help this person with their problem. And I'll give you an example. I'm saying this here. There are a couple of times when some persons have challenges in government, talking about currently. And I could take maybe the conventional approach by, just blabbing it out in public or whatsoever and say, well, oh, look at this person at this problem, the person getting paid whatsoever. And sometimes I just take the phone and I call him in civil education and say, no, I say, David, look, man, watch. I say, Senator, and you have this person having some problems, man, try and get it resolved. And you say, well, send me the information, send me the name, send me the issue, what issue they're having. I will send it and we have a conversation every time we have it resolved. So, sometimes, I hear certain things about politics, but for me, I think engaging people is something that really brings satisfaction. Albeit not everybody is going to support you, and everybody is going to have that ability to want to support me or like me, whatever the case may be. That is life. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that how I feel and what being involved in politics does for me. And that is one of the reasons why I enjoy doing it, because of that satisfaction that it brings. And so when it comes to the South, I really, 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 really wanted to do something for the South in a very special way. And we missed that opportunity, but I will still do what I can for the South when I get back in government. Whatever role that I have, I will do throughout the entire country, including the South. And I think that is one of the things that the opportunity affords, that I can still find a way to help and to support every aspect of this country wherever I can. So I'm very, very happy about that. And the second part in politics, why it's not so difficult. I laughed with you. Somebody asked me that question. I can't remember where it was. Oh, we were at a meeting and somebody asked, about how we do that. And so I quickly refer to this Dreadland song, I'm like a color leaf in the radio, so nothing doesn't really stay on me. And it comes to just rules off, So that is in a metaphoric sense how I am, how I deal with it, because you are going to be critiqued. People are going to form their own opinions about you especially if they don't understand what you're doing or what you deal with on a daily basis, because not everything that you could put out there, that's part of what you do, and so people form their opinion. So I never hold that against people and about how they feel or how they may think who you are. I don't do that, because it happens. The same way how they do it to me, it's the same way somebody do it to them. So, it's fair game. So I don't really pay much attention to that. I just try to always be consistent in who I am, and just let the rest speak for itself.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Senator Cox, we'd like to thank you so very much for being on with us tonight. We've taken you past the 10 o'clock hour. I hope I take you past your bedtime, So we'd like to thank you so very much. And before you go, I'd just like to say a very special good night to your mom. I know she's listening. She's up and she's listening. And I know I wouldn't have it easy. So I'm saying a special good night to your mom, a lovely lady. Good night to her.
Yeah.
And of course, Miss Simon up there in Six Roads, I'm saying a special good night to you. I'm saying good night to the whole of Carriacou, but you see these two ladies, I'm telling them a special good night tonight. I hope Miss Matheson ain't vex. Miss Matheson, Mr. Matheson, don't vex. But I have to say a special good night to these people and my good partner Bonfield. Good night to all of you.
Yeah.
Abraham,
Sure, it's
the
a
whole
pleasure.
squad.
Yeah.
The whole squad. Just good night to everybody.
It's a really pleasure to be on, and for me it's a privilege to be able to be serving in the public space for Carriacou and Petit-Martinique, and being the voice of the people at this point in time, because there is so much going wrong, but somebody have to speak up, and so sometimes some people chastise me for not being aggressive or being more vocal, but sometimes, Sheldon, I think a lot of people don't want to be consumed with a lot of negative stuff all the time.
Mhm.
But we have to speak about the issue. That some persons are definitely afraid to speak and then need that voice, and that's where I come in.
Yes, indeed.
That's where I come in. I am the voice for those persons. So it's a pleasure always to be on. Next time, I don't know how soon. Maybe I'll
Yes,
call him,
soon.
because I just
Soon.
wanted to touch.
Soon.
I did want to touch a little on I think you're touching on one of your programs that I showed last night or the night before, regarding the ownership of the digital service tax,
Yeah.
and the implications, the potential implications you have for us going forward. And I think the bill coming on Friday has to do with the setting up of the institute for that.
And that's why I kind of stayed away from a broader discussion, and I was waiting to hear the discussion in the Senate before discussing the digital tax and the new whatever entity
unit,
put
Yeah,
together
yeah.
to discuss that. And I also purposely stayed away tonight from the issue of the registration officer for Carriacou Petit-Martinique. I purposely stayed away from that. As you know, yesterday was the final day for registration for the second quarter. I'm waiting to see what is coming out and so on, and then we'll have a further conversation on that one. So we didn't dock it, but we're just waiting to see what comes out so we know how to approach that particular issue. Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
So once again, Senator Cox, we want to thank you so very much. Do enjoy
It's
the
a
rest
pleasure.
of your night tonight, and thank you once again.
You're welcome.
All right. Yes, indeed, folks. We were speaking there with Senator the Honorable Norland Cox, my good, as we say, Kakabawi, my good brethren out there in Carriacou, Deputy Political Leader of the New National Party, and soon to be the MP for Carriacou Petit-Martinique. Folks, that is all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. We have gone over our time, actually. And we'd like to thank each and every one of you for staying the course with us tonight. The night that, the people of Carriacou and Petit-Martinique will never forget. And it was important tonight to take a look at where Carriacou and Petit-Martinique is at right now. The resilience of the people of Carriacou, Petit-Martinique, Grenada, those who were affected in Grenada, and the Grenadine Islands. The resilience of these people has come to the fore once again, and it must be respected and it must be praised. Yeah, while there's a lot that the government has to do and must do and should do. The people themselves have taken the lead in getting things back to the point that they are at right now. Had it been left to government, Papa, the whole place is still looking mash. But you see that they have gotten it. The people themselves have gotten it back to the stage it is at right now. We remember those who have gone to the great beyond, those on the day itself, those who went in the days and months following, all of the folks that were down here in Grenada and went to the great beyond. Remember each and every one of them in our prayers tonight as we go to sleep. Folks, as I said, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here. I am out.
Can someone help me? Please help me unfold. What if the drums that just captivate the soul? Is it a ritual that speaks to one and all? It gets you off your feet and dance to the beat. When they play a song to open the ring, the whole of the crowd just start to sing. Ibole ole, woyo, ibole ole, ibole ole, woyo, ibole ole, ibole ole, woyo, ibole ole. What is happening? Oh, I just find myself dancing in the ring. I just can't control my emotion. Like the music driving me into convulsion. When the drummer started to play this song, I tell myself that it's my nation. I am a Ibolele. I am a Ibolele. I am a Ibolele. I am a break away from this illusion. Maybe the spirit is what causing it. Captivate your soul with a beat that sounds so sweet. When the people make the final request, I have to tell you I'm most impressed with my own native land. In 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 my own native land, in my own native land, in my own native land, in my own native land. In my own land, beautiful island. Yes, my own land, the new foundation. In my own land. Let's now honor and pay tribute to a big Jamaicans. Uganda, Ensgate, Prince Lawrence, Winston Flay, Jack, Django and Luxon, Lucy and Duncan, C.D. McGilvery, Mayford Tune, and all those who have contributed to the survival of Big Drum on this beautiful island.